Welcome to this week's edition of The Gun Doctor. AmmoLand.com recently reported on a new Gallup poll that shows support for stricter gun control has dropped 5 percentage points to the lowest level it has been since 2014, and a separate Gallup survey shows far more people own guns for personal protection against crime. According to Gallup, support for stricter gun laws has declined to 52%, while 35% of U.S. adults believe current laws covering the sale of firearms should be kept as they are now. 11% want fewer gun laws. Back in 1990, when the nation's crime rate was high, a record 78% of Americans supported stricter gun laws for gun sales. The other Gallup survey shows 88% of gun owners say personal protection from crime is the reason why they own firearms. That's up 67% who said they had guns for self-defense in 2005. Alan Gottlieb, chairman of the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, a national grassroots gun rights organization, said, "The reason for less support for gun control and more for gun rights is simple. The rise in violent crime, less police, and Democrat overreaction on gun policy threatens the safety of Americans, and they get it." Look at the headlines, and they all seem to say the same thing. Fewer police are on the street, and response times seem to be increasing. For example, the Portland Police Bureau reported it has fewer officers, 789, than at any point in the past 30 years. Seattle has lost some 325 officers over the past 2 years because of the protest and the defund the police movement, according to Interim Chief Adrian Diaz. In Kansas City, Missouri, a recent study suggests defunding police departments could hurt more than help. A study done by Sarit Weisberg, an assistant professor at Tel Aviv University in Israel, says a 10% drop in police presence results in a 7% hike in crime. Recently, police agencies were losing officers over new vaccination mandates, which are being challenged in some areas. According to Gallup, the shift towards crime as the most likely reason for owning a gun likely occurred well before now. The survey says 31% of U.S. adults personally own guns, up slightly from the 30% average Gallup has noted since the year 2000. Another 13% of U.S. adults say a household member other than themselves owns a gun. A new Rasmussen survey just released says 49% of likely voters either own guns or live with someone who does. The poll also found that among voters in gun-owning households, 53% say the federal government should not keep track of who owns guns in the United States, while among those in gun-free households, 55% say the government should keep track of gun ownership. However, household gun ownership is down slightly from the 1990s at 44%. 20-plus years ago, household gun ownership was hovering between 50 and 54%, according to Gallup. The Gallup poll also revealed that public support for a complete ban on handguns has dropped 6 points in the past year and hovers at only 19%, an all-time low since 1959, when 60% of Americans supported such a ban. But that was decades before the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 2008 that the Second Amendment protects an individual right to own a gun and that handguns are protected. There is something more, and it is significant. According to Gallup, the latest drop in support for handgun ban is largely attributable to political independence. Recently, the Second Amendment Foundation pointed to a survey which revealed more voters, 46%, think Republicans do a better job on gun policy than Democrats at 39%. Currently, Gallup says 14% of independents think there should be a ban on handguns, which marks a 16-point decline since 2019, including 9 points since 2020. Even fewer Republicans, 6%, favor such a ban, while 40% of Democrats do. The polling firm said personal gun ownership rates are higher among men, Republicans, political conservatives, upper-income Americans, and those living in rural areas and in the South. The Gallup findings come at a time when Joe Biden and his Democrat allies in Capitol Hill have essentially stalled in their gun control efforts. Democrats lost Virginia and nearly lost New Jersey to Republican gubernatorial control, thanks in part to gun voters who are fed up with restrictions that have done nothing to prevent violent crime. With murder rates on the upswing, a growing majority of American adults are taking a different approach to crime and personal safety, relying on themselves rather than depending upon police to defend themselves, their families, and their homes. And finally, concealed carry permits have jumped 10.5% in 2021. And you need to jump over to Smoke and Gun Works. Beat the rush, get that Christmas shopping done early, and buy that special someone a special gift from Smoke and Gun Works. Smoke and Gun Works, where you can buy, sell, or trade, shoot, shop, or train. Smoke and Gun Works, 8785 North Baileyville Road, Forreston, Illinois. For the Gun Doctor, I'm Tim Bivens.